So, hello and welcome to Conversations with Esther. I apologize, I have an issue with the camera, but we'll kick off. Welcome to Conversations with Esther. Thank you, Dr. Joy Mugambi. I see you in the room. We are good to go. We'll begin with, let me just put this on the screen so that we kick off. That's good. That's good enough. So allow me to pray. Allow me to pray. Father, in the name of Jesus, we thank you for this session. Thank you, Lord, for bringing us back live on this session. This is our first session for the year. And as we continue every Wednesday on the Fireside Chats, we ask for your guidance. I pray for Dr. Joy, and as she delivers this message, you will be with her, Lord. And I pray for the audience that it will be a healing moment and a hopeful moment in Jesus' name. Amen. Amen. So welcome to Conversations with Esther Fireside Chats. We are back today, Wednesday, 19th of March, 2025. Dr. Joy, thank you for honoring our invitation to be our first guest this year. So that is on the screen is our social media links. You can scan that. You will get to all our links. You get to our YouTube. Our YouTube is Conversations with Esther Katiba. You can always watch previous, and this very session is there live right now. LinkedIn, Esther Katiba, Instagram at Conversations with Esther Katiba. We will keep posting that as we go on with the session. Now, a brief about Conversations with Esther for those that will be joining us for the very first time. Conversations with Esther Katiba is an impact-driven professional platform that informs, educates, and rebuilds mindsets on matters work, organizational culture, and holistic wellness. Now, we ignite ethical and authentic leadership, promoting best practice within industries. Conversations with Esther equips the workplace with relevant legal, human resource, and holistic wellness skills through capacity building, training, motivational talks, end-to-end HR consultancy support, and mentorship programs. Now, guided by our three values, integrity, excellence, and impact, we envision a workplace transformed by candid conversations, respectable relationships, and intentional leadership. Now, tonight, our session is one amazing one, and I'm happy that this is our first session in 2025. Now, we are a voice in the mental health space in the workplace, and this session kicks us off this year into an amazing, amazing year. The impact of unemployment on mental health. The impact of unemployment on mental health. If you look at the chat, I have posted a question. Have you been through a season of unemployment and how did that feel? Continue engaging us in the chat. We have Dr. Joy K. Mugambi in the house. Now, this is a question that we asked. Is unemployment draining you mentally? Because it does drain. Do you know that unemployment can turn out to be an emotional roller coaster? What starts out as a hopeful experience for a new job can quickly turn into bitterness, sadness, and anger as time passes without any luck. The impact of unemployment on mental health can become more severe and even develop into mental health disorders. Now we have Dr. Joy in the room, and we will be giving her the platform for this. So allow me to also introduce our speaker tonight. We are privileged. Dr. Joy, thank you for the sacrifice. I'm aware you have been up and down the whole day, from Nakuru all the way, attending to a special delegation, and you've made it back to Nairobi. Thank you. We don't take this for granted. Now, Dr. Joy Karamana Mugambi is the County Director of Health Administration and Planning for Nakuru County, Kenya. She is the Secretary General of the Commonwealth Medical Association, Chair of the Kenya Association of Family Physicians, and a board member of the Kenya Health Human Resource Advisory Council. She has served on various local and international boards, contributing to health policy and systems strengthening. Dr. Mugambi advocates for quality primary health care, gender equity, and planetary health, focusing on improving access and outcomes in diverse healthcare settings. Now, she has served as Secretary General of the World Organization of Family Physicians, Africa region, and is a board advisor for Women in Global Health, Kenya. In 2024, Dr. Joy was recognized among Kenya's top 100 persons for her contributions to healthcare. So we have the right person in the room. Dr. Joy Mugambi, welcome. Welcome. The floor is yours. We want to learn. We've been through seasons. If you allow me, I can actually go through the chat so that it's a good space for you to begin. The question was, have you ever had a season of unemployment, and how did that feel like? And I see Nduta said, yes, in that season, and sometimes it's not to mention the impatience that creeps in and can be nerve-wracking. I see someone else said, I have several times. It is sometimes very depressing. It comes with some uncertainties and anxiety. I see someone else said, it felt like I didn't have a purpose. There's another one here that says, yes, I have. I am currently out of employment. I'm trying to keep my hopes up as I work on a few consultancy assignments. Another person here says, depressing. If not mitigated well, one can be suicidal. So, Dr. Joy, you see where this one is going. Just a minute, I want to make sure I go through them all. Yes, I have briefly in 2023. It brought confusion as to what next after 23 years of employment. We are not prepared for this, even a HR professional on different levels, even socially. Severally, a feeling of disappointment and regression. Yeah, I am currently going through this. I had such days on Friday and Saturday. I'm a freelancer and I have been having long periods of no jobs and several leads just turning me down. It's very discouraging and tough to keep going on. Now, someone else says, today I've told myself to stop hoping. Now, Dr. Joy, you hear that. That one says something to you, isn't it? Yes, no income is tough. Currently unemployed, and it's not easy as a single mom. There's another one who says it's tough. One loses self-worth and loads of feelings of inadequacy. Current situation. So over to you, Dr. Joy. I believe you will be able to address that. Let's keep engaging in the chat. I've been there, Dr. Joy. I've been there, and it's devastating. Every day you wake up hoping something will come up, and you almost get stressed and depressed when you see other people dress up and go to work. But over to you, Dr. Joy. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Esther, and to the attendees. It's an honor to be here to share and speak to you about a very pertinent topic. I have read through the comments and I want to give hope. As much as times are hard, I hope that this topic discussion will really help. And where there is help, you seek it. So I want to share my slides. We'll start off with a set of slides. And from there, we will be able to have a discussion. And once we are done, if you're seeking help, we are very available to assist where possible. So there is someone singing. Probably I'll mute that. So what's the impact of unemployment on mental health? Reading through the comments, it really gives me the concerns that people are going through. Have we been through that? Yes. And unemployment is not a new thing. It's a common thing all through the professional life. There are days when you will have, there are days when you will not have. And looking at the journey employment spaces has come through. Earlier on, many years back, there were three professions. It was medicine, engineering, and law. And opportunities were in plenty, especially when I started off within my medical field. I remember we went into college, we left college with an employment letter, and we entered into the job market because there was need to encourage people to enter into the medical field. But spaces are becoming smaller, and we are not really innovating much to create more spaces for the young person to find a place to get employed. But what does the future look like? Is what we need to ask ourselves, and how do we need to modify ourselves to that? But let's start with addressing the mental health issues, because you need to be prepared as you enter into the job space. And also as you seek employment in the job space, having that peace of mind to be able to seek out. So as an introduction, unemployment is a growing concern, especially in our country, because it impacts on the financial stability and mental health. Most people leave their homes with that, when they get into their professional careers, they are set out into the world to be able to look for jobs, not to be able to create jobs. And that's what we really need to think about as we address our mental health issues. The uncertainty of job loss and financial insecurity contributes to stress, anxiety, and depression. A few weeks ago, not a few weeks, last month, February, we got the notice where the US funded programs were just stopped overnight. And people just lost jobs, thousands of them. And now we have another pool of job seekers, while there were others who are also seeking jobs. But these people are coming in when they are traumatized with the way even their jobs got lost. Then within this talk, we'll be looking at the roadmap, which aims to provide a guidance on mental resilience, coping mechanisms, and available support systems, and trying to make it as simple as possible for the job seeker to be able to understand what they need to do and how they need to do it. So what's the situation as of 2023? The few reports I read, this is from the World Bank reports an unemployment rate of 5.57% in Kenya, while the youth unemployment rate stands at 12.23%. Remember, our population is largest at the belly, which is the youth population. And so with an unemployment rate of 12.23%, that means quite a number of youth are going through mental health hardships. They do not have the capability to withstand the financial implications of even seeking mental health support. And the job spaces, despite the advertisement of jobs, do not offer support beyond the rejections or the adverts that they put up where they do not give feedback most of the times. So what's the scope? As we have said, there is a high youth unemployment in Kenya, and there is also strong correlation between joblessness and mental health issues. We also have a rising case of depression, anxiety, and substance use amongst job seekers, where job seekers do not have the opportunities. They find a way to engage in substance use, and this becomes a spiral and a continuous process where if they are not on their substance, then they end up with further depression, they end up with anxiety, and they continue seeking support from the substances that they are using. Then COVID-19 came in 2020. It worsened the job insecurity and mental distress. Then further, the economic downfalls that have been happening not only within our country, but globally, and affecting the way our health structures, our mental health is set out. Now, in addition, this year we have seen geopolitics that has now caused us to end up with more job losses and further mental health distress. So key stress factors for job seekers. One is the financial strain and the economic uncertainty. Then repeated rejection and lack of response from employers. And we have human resource personnel here. And we hope that from this discussion, being able to give feedback is really, really key. I know you do get a lot of applications, but it would be essential to at least find a way of giving feedback to the employee who has applied to you. I had an opportunity to have myself go through a job interview, which had 7 steps. But at the end, on the 7th step, we were given feedback of why we didn't make it to the final process where now the recruitment was happening. And looking through the feedback that I got from that HR team, I now know where my failures were. I'm working on them to improve myself, to ensure that I get to that level of the job that I am seeking out. So as a HR officer, it would be nice to give feedback to that job seeker who's seeking an employment from you, so that they also have a self-reflection, self-improvement, and look through the processes that they went through to ensure that they do their best. Then social and family pressure to secure employment. It's an African system where everyone thinks that having a job in an office is the gold standard. But jobs can be created even at home. We are seeing people who are working virtually in their virtual spaces. There are also people who work from home and are still employed and they are earning. But there are also those who are creatives. They are doing a lot within their creative space. They are doing some art, music, and also other design and technology stuff that really makes an impact in their economic well-being. Then loss of identity and self-worth due to prolonged unemployment. I have seen the comments on the comment section, and there are those who have already lost their self-worth because of the prolonged unemployment, and they are losing even their identity in the process. But how do we regain that? We really need to have that discussion, and that's why we are here. So there is increased stress and anxiety due to financial strain, and that's where the impact is of prolonged unemployment. Low self-esteem and sense of identity, feeling of isolation, hopelessness, and depression, and I've seen this on the comments. And then there is the high risk of substance abuse as a coping mechanism. But drugs, alcohol do not solve the problem. They actually worsen it. If a job opens up and you're engaged in substance abuse, and this is what we face as human resource teams, and also at the employment space where we are managing HR, we have youth coming in who have had prolonged periods of being unemployed, but they have now entered into substance use. And this is what they are using as a coping mechanism. When a little pressure is applied in the workspace, they drop back into their substance use and they spiral over and over because the workspace can also be a very stressful space. And that way they lose the jobs that they are also seeking. Then there is also impact on family and social relationships. The unemployed lately, you find they are not willing even to have relationships where they commit because they feel they are not ready to have a spouse who may demand them to ensure that they are financially supporting them. So what are the coping strategies for mental well-being? One thing, wake up in the morning, shower, dress up like you're going for a job. So long as you're seeking a job, you need to keep a daily routine and maintain it. Wake up, dress up, look smart, and be ready to even apply for that job. If your mindset is not set on a daily routine that looks like a workspace, then you will end up having a depressive episode because you either wake up, stay in pajamas, don't shower, don't brush your teeth, and you don't basically look smart to be able to get out. So the day an opening comes up, you probably will dress up day one. Day two, meet with Dr. Joy, who probably tells you your work yesterday was sloppy, improve on it, and you feel targeted. And then day three, you don't wake up. So having a routine, even while job seeking, is really, really important. Then engage in physical activities and mindful practices. Get out, run, jog. Most people say, I don't have money to join a gym. The roads are free for you to run. Maybe you have some stairs somewhere where you're living in an apartment. Run up and down those stairs. Get out, breathe some fresh air. Don't stay indoors on a full time because that way you tend to get clogged up, you gain weight, you get depressed further, and you end up into this mental depression that you cannot get out. So be physically active, look at your well-being and ensure that your mindful practices are engaged. Then build a support network, friends, family, and community. You train in college for a certain profession. Register in your professional body. I am a member of Kenya Medical Association. I'm a member of the Kenya Family Physicians Association, and I'm a member of our global organizations. And most of them have opportunities for young upcoming members, and they give them subsidy in terms of registration. An example we have in the Kenya Medical Association is we adapt a young doctor. You pay their membership until they have footing to be able to continue working. That way we support them to ensure that they join the network of the profession and they are able to engage in activities which are within the profession. They are able to get also opportunities from fellow colleagues and they grow within the profession as they go on. There are other community networks that you can join, churches, social clubs which are within the community. Most of them don't even charge much, but most of them, yes, have a fee. But having a fee means some commitment to the work that you're doing in there. And to be able to be noted by the community, you need to be working with the community. Then seek professional help when experiencing severe distress. When I came into the professional world, my first employment, as I was reporting, my dad took me to find a home, a house. And as we were looking for a house, he said, one thing you will experience in employment is a lot of stress. And within the workspace, please don't come bring the stress to us. Find a psychologist. That was very many years ago in the 90s. He had a psychologist himself and he would seek help. It may cost you some few shillings, but it is an investment for your well-being. Though there are also available spaces for mental health support that are free, that are available, that you can be able to seek out and be helped. Then focus on skills building and personal development. We focus so much on our professional development that we forget we need to develop some skills. What else can you do if today you did not have the ability to do what you trained in? If today I'm not working as a doctor, I am a great painter. I am a great crocheter. I am a great person in terms of knitting. I do other things beyond being a doctor. I have other things that can get me some income as I await another opportunity. So what other skills are you building to be able to get yourself through hard times? Don't get stuck within your profession. Avoid substance use as a way of coping. Please, please avoid substance use. It's usually one puff so that I can get to forget. It becomes two puffs so that I forget completely. And then it becomes two puffs or three so that I do not have this problem ever. And some of these substances, weed is now currently available in large numbers. Sometimes people in universities are told that weed will help you remember. Yes, it helps you remember for a short period, but it erases everything in the long run. So which one is better? Being erased, completely wiped out, and remembering a few things for a short while, or ensuring that you manage your mental health without substance use? Alcohol nowadays is easily available. Some are brewing it even in the house using yeast to make it the cheapest that they can. But the long run, you damage your organs, you damage your mental health, and you damage your relationships within the community, within your profession, within your families. And you end up having no ability to get back to track, even when you get a job. And we've seen this within our organizations. We've seen people who are brought in and you're told, today you note that they are drunk. Then the next day and you call maybe a relative that you know, and they tell you, hata hii kazi tulimtafutia ili aweze kusaidika achane na pombe. Workspaces should not be a rehabilitation point. Try and work on your own to be able not to enter into substance use. But workspaces can support you if at all you are willing to be supported, because there are structures and ways of us being able to get you into rehabilitation and assist you. But for you to be able to sustain a job, try and stay away from substances. So also leverage on other entities and government support. Utilize government internship programs and training opportunities. There is usually internship programs that the government advertises. There's training opportunities that you end up hearing from agriculture departments, that they are training on how to grow mushrooms, they are training on how to keep spirulina. This was some activity I saw the other week from the agriculture department, and they were looking for community members who are willing to get trained on this, Look out for newspaper adverts when these training opportunities are coming up. Learn a new skill, as we said. Then take up volunteer positions in state and non-state organizations. We see advertisements for volunteer positions. If there are no adverts for volunteer positions, apply and volunteer. Sometimes you could learn skills which are beneficial for you, or you could get networks which catapult you to the other side of employment. It just needs you to turn up, show up, and do your best in your voluntary position. Then engage in faith-based and community organizations for support. Churches and your communities will really help you. I always thank my community because they really helped me to be the doctor I am today. My village, it rallied up, they supported me, and I was able to get through my college with their support, along with the church, which is always there whenever you need it. Then access mental health helplines and counseling services. I'll share a few links of services that you can utilize to be able to get through. Then leverage online resources for mental health awareness and self-help strategies, along with helping you to be able to develop even your CV and stuff. So for those who are preparing for employment and re-employment, you need to sit down and update your CV and LinkedIn profiles. We tend to see CVs that you shared last year coming back to the table this year and coming back to the table next year with the same wording, same issues that were on the same CV of the previous 2 or 3 years. But try and update your CV so that you also look at what have I done? Have I developed a new skill? Have I joined a new club that I need to add there? Have I done some research work that I need to add on my CV? Then on the LinkedIn profile, try and polish it up, add something new. And for your networks and professionals and other, engage also with networks and professionals and attend job fairs, attend conferences. Just go to a conference, say hi to a few people, get to see what they are doing, attend the show. We have annual shows in different counties, and those shows seem like kids' fun fairs, but they can be places where you learn new skills. You might meet the agriculture department, you might meet the health department, trade, and get to see where you even market your product. Lately, I have seen young people joining us during the shows and displaying their wares and products, which either are health-related, agriculture-related, or trade, and you're given an opportunity to share a booth without having to pay much. So talk to your counties, talk to your local governments so that they can be able to include you when such activities happen. Then consider short-term gigs and freelancing. I saw Roy having put that he has been freelancing. I know it has been on and off and on, but do not give up. A journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step, and you've taken the single step. Let's keep going. Then enroll in online courses to enhance skills. There's so many free online courses. I take them also as a doctor. I have learned quite a number of new things. Currently, I'm going through a project management course. I have had my challenges managing projects, but I want to get better. And I have spared my 1 hour Tuesday nights to be able to run this, and it's really helping me improve in my skills. Then stay persistent and adapt a positive mindset. Positive mindset, let nothing shake you. Just be there and be persistent, apply, tell yourself, I'll get better. Write even to that employer, ask them, why didn't I get this opportunity? Do you have an opportunity to speak to me and tell me how I can improve so as to be able to get the opportunity. Most employers will respond and they'll give you feedback. I've had to do that and I've gotten very good feedback of why I didn't perform in that interview and gone back to clean up my CV, clean up my LinkedIn profile, add the skills that I really need, and this really helps quite a lot. So for the policymakers, let's start thinking about expanding our mental health programs for unemployed individuals. I know we have a lot of workplace mental health programs, but we need to also remember the unemployed individuals. And number 2, strengthen social safety nets to support mental and financial well-being. We've seen support for the older person, support for indigents, support for vulnerable groups. Probably it's time to see how we can support the youth who are unemployed to have a safety net that they can be able to carry forward. But also we need to promote community-based support groups. And this can start with you as an individual. What communities are you working with? How do you have a support group that you work together to also advocate for your job opportunities, to also reach out to sponsors and to be able to get grants and opportunities that really catapult you. There is lots of grants out there. They just need you to be in a group. And when you're in a group, you can apply for grants which are in different fields and you can end up having great opportunities. Then we also can think as policymakers to integrate mental health awareness into job-seeking programs. And this goes out to our HR teams. How do you ensure that despite having interviewed that individual, step 1 is the first interview, step 2, probably you're looking at the qualification, step 3, the ones who drop off from the qualification, how do you ensure that they also get some mental health counseling before they exit completely, and you give them feedback. And as they progress on in their interviews, you're able to give them some mental health support, so that you also have organizations which seem to have a culture of support, not just a culture of doing their job and leaving without having given feedback. So in conclusion, unemployment significantly affects mental health and well-being. And for sure, we need to build resilience, seek support, and stay proactive, which are very crucial steps. And for governments, communities, and individuals, we must collaborate to seek sustainable mental health support systems so that we help the next generation be the best that they can as they engage in whatever they do. Then let's keep our expectations not so high there, but at least know that there are skills that you can utilize to earn you something, and ensure that you utilize these skills to get you to be a better person. I would like to say these are the available mental health helps in Kenya. Today even I had to reaffirm that this Red Cross line is still working. I called and they are there. They are waiting for your call. So if you really feel you need help, Kenya Red Cross Mental Health Helpline is available. It's 119-1199. It's free and they offer you that. It's a toll-free line actually. So just feel free to call it. Chiromo Mental Health Hospital has also a free mental health awareness program, has some free mental health awareness programs once in a while. And you can call them up and get to hear from them when they are having these opportunities. Kenyatta National Hospital, Mathare Hospital, they offer public mental health services, and all our government institutions offer mental health services, which are at very low costs. And where you have community-based organizations, they will offer and support through their support groups. Most of them have sought grants to be able to support, and we do come across them. If you're in areas like Nakuru, where I am, there is an organization in Naivasha that supports us even when we have crises. And then we have the online platforms such as Befrienders, where if you go to their website, you'll be able to find them and they are available for support. They have helplines, they have a virtual platform, and they are available to help. And basically, Befrienders is on matters around suicide. They deal with suicide support, and they've really been beneficial to most of the people who have made calls through. So let's talk. Thank you very much. Back to you, Esther.
Wow, wow, thank you, Doc. I'll request that possibly you keep the previous slide on, just in case anyone would need the numbers. Yes, that one, and the conversation is going on very well, and the silence in the room speaks a lot. I have picked, you've really spoken to the comments that had been made by the people in the room. I don't know whether anyone in the room has something to add. I have seen Jay Walemba here. Jay, are you in the room? Are you still here?
Yes, I'm here.
Jay Walemba is the CEO of JCVs. So Jay is, their slogan is they make you employable. So job seekers in the room, I want to refer you to Jay Walemba. And Jay, possibly not about maybe the open jobs, but what Daktari has talked about. I know you handle a lot of job seekers.
Yes.
And I know you also had an experience of losing your job because you were unwell. But what do
Yes.
you have to say in a minute to job seekers?
For job seekers, what I can say is that mental health is something that affects several of us. I'm a victim, and through that, I took that moment positively, and I was able to turn things around. So from being now a job seeker to being an employer and helping even more others to gain employment. So I believe that we all have a purpose on earth, and some of us were not meant to be employed. So sometimes if you're losing a job, the next one you don't stay, you're losing it. It might be God communicating to you that it's time that you can go on and serve your purpose on earth, and then you can be able to share an opportunity with someone and even solve a problem that might be affecting the whole community where you are and even globally. So I believe that everyone has a purpose, and your purpose, before you realize your purpose, sometimes God might go the long way and have you feel like you're getting punished or you're suffering. But in real sense, God is making you, is preparing you for the task ahead. Thank you so much, Esther.
Well, thank you, Walemba, Jay. Now, I like what Daktari said, integrating mental health in interviews. And I have seen quite a number of HR professionals in the room. I think that's amazing. That's amazing. What I do personally is, of course, there are people you interview, and Jay, you can attest to this. I know we had some interviews recently. And sometimes when you interview the candidate, you clearly see they might not make it to the next level. So it's important, instead of keeping that person waiting, sometimes it's important to give feedback on the spot and be very gracious in your feedback. I always say you have no idea what people are going through. They might show up, daktari, in the interview, all set, looking composed, but things are not good back at home. So it's important to be gracious when you're giving feedback. Now I got to think about it. You got me thinking about also separations. When people leaving jobs, when you're terminating or you're separating with people, it's very important that organizations as well adopt a culture where you provide counseling for your staff. I worked in a place where I would look at as a HR, sometimes it's very difficult. And I would look at the candidate, no, at the staff that you're separating with, and you can tell mentally it's hit them very badly, you know. So sometimes I would even pick a cab at my own cost, and that takes them home, because that person in the room doesn't look like they're okay. So you can imagine what will happen when they get to the road, or when they're just on themselves, on their own. So it's important that you put that on. Walemba, I have heard something here that we might need to bring on board into IHRM, that Daktari said they adopt a young medical doc and pay their membership until they stabilize. I love that. That's amazing, and I know there are HR professionals here. But Dr. Joy, I want to ask you, what would you say to people that have attempted getting jobs? They've gone to jail, they have polished their CVs, their LinkedIn profiles are okay. Somehow mentally it's affected completely. And I know you said it's good that we adopt some routine where we shower, dress up. It's not very easy. Truth be told, it's not very easy. Sometimes you don't even want your family members to talk to you in the morning. You want to be alone. We've seen people getting into deep depression. Actually, when organizations have redundancies, or government employees are laid off, somehow there seems to be no plan on the next move. What would you tell such people who feel, I have worked for 20? I saw someone saying they worked for 23 years and lost the job. It's not easy to pick yourself up. Speak to those people. And I know there are many in the room that may also have joined after we read the comments. Yeah.
And I'll put it back to succession planning and retirement preparedness, because a long-term employee who has to retire at one point in their life needs to be preparing for retirement from the minute you get that job, even from the minute you're seeking the job. So what's our retirement preparedness and planning like as we also seek out the jobs? Because this is something we face even as employers, and as we engage with human resource. You have someone who has left the job, they have retired, but they keep reporting every morning back to the office. And you realize that they never prepared for this also end of the journey. Number two, yes, you've lost a job. You've worked for 23 years. 23 years, it's time you need to have prepared for any eventualities. If we usually prepare for floods, for drought, and we store food and grains, then we should be also preparing for an eventuality where you lose work. And we usually say at least you should have a backup of your 3-month salary or 6 months salary, so to ensure you are tided over during your hardest times. But you have to gauge that yourself as an employee and ask yourself, what are my needs? What are my expectations? What if an eventuality happens that I lose this job? For the auditors, they do what we call risk assessment. And when they do risk assessment, they are looking at the risks of the company. I tell my mentees, you need to do your risk assessment all the way from when you're in campus. You're assessing your risks. Yes, I may finish my campus and not get employed. What will I do when I get out? If you're an employee who has gotten a job, I may lose this job anytime. It doesn't matter whether you're in public sector or private sector. I hear people saying, I am going to public sector because you're insured of job security, you're insured that you may not be thrown out anytime. But remember, we are working human resource officers who have to ensure we adhere to the disciplinary issues, even in a public facility, ensure that we scrutinize and also terminate where jobs are not being done in the right way. And anything can lead to termination. Probably one day a patient wakes up and says, I was mishandled, and there's this malpractice case that you're handling, and you end up being terminated your job. That's a loss, that's a risk. So we run a lot of risks, and especially in the current era of litigation, job losses, geopolitics, which we have seen last month, where one day a new president has been sworn in and the next day everyone is going home. So we cannot just be stuck in one place. And we really need to look at what risks do I have? How do I prepare for these risks? And how do I ensure that even my own expectations, my expenditures are aligning with what I have at hand, and ensuring that you do not go beyond what you have at hand and minimize and live within your means. But we are seeing people who also don't live within their means. Because I took my child to a group of schools and I've lost my job, I cannot revert to a government primary school that's next door and save on that cost and ensure that it is well. Are you speaking to your children also that if you are affected and you have those risks, that they can revert back? Back to you, Esther.
Wow, I see someone's asking Jay to post his contact details. Please, Jay, do so. Daktari, I know people have not looked at the loss of a job as in the terms of loss and grief, coping with loss and grief. And I know in most cases we think it's just the loss of a loved one, but it hits very deep. It cuts quite deep. And maybe you can help us, maybe in a minute or two, just how we can walk through emotionally through the loss of a job.
So through the loss of a job, seek help. One, from family, from friends. If you have close relatives and friends who can really help and support you, it's important to seek help. Number two, we have hospital support where we are able to help, and these are the freely available helps that are there with loss and grief. When it comes to a job, it feels as painful as losing a person that you love so much, because this is work that you're used to. This is a source of income. And so, yes, it is really important to seek help. You can also ensure that you speak about it, share with someone, and ensure that they are there to support you. One thing we have also done, Esther, within our professional bodies, is when you adapt, other than just paying the membership fee, we walk the journey with you professionally and also within your personal life, to be able to support and grow you. We also have colleagues who have mental health issues who we walk the journey with, support them. Some also welcome them to your homes to be able to support them through the journey of healing and recovery. And we've really had good outcomes. We've had colleagues who have offered to treat them for free and be able to get them through the difficult times until they are able to get medical insurance, get to hold their feet up. I know it's not the same in other professions, but this is something that can be borrowed. This is something that also can be collaborated, Esther, in terms of other professional organizations. We see how we can easily benefit each other in terms of support and networks, so that we ensure even your professionals as human resource are supported through their grief process, and they at least get someone to help them timely enough and through the hardships. Because even where you give someone a promissory note, once I get a job, we are paying help loans. Why can't we be able to be supported? And maybe once you're up on your feet and you've gotten a new job, you're able to pay back the doctor who supported you through that rough patch. We are
Wow.
here on humanitarian.
Mm.
Yes.
That's beautiful. I think that's something we'll extend to IHRM. I know that the executive director is very open to that. You have met her before. Now, Daktari, I see someone saying most people seem not to be prepared for retirement, no matter how many awareness sessions they are exposed to. It's causing depression, loss of identity, etc. What can you tell this group of people? And then there's another one there, if I can combine. Can Daktari briefly talk of how to cope with imposter syndrome? And then how can you help someone who is in a toxic work environment and that is their only source of income? Maybe you can handle that before I go to the others.
Okay, so for the one who's in a toxic work environment, one, you need to identify the cause. Are you able to stand up to the issues that are happening within your workspace? If at all you're not able to stand up to the issues around your workspace, is it a space that you're able to exit? Sometimes we exit from toxicity for our own mental well-being, but we also stand up for ourselves. We could be in a space where we feel is toxic, but the person who is causing the toxicity does not know they are causing you harm. They are probably working the way they have known for years. And I've noted when you sit down with someone who's causing you to feel uncomfortable and explain them your uncomfortable situation, then they actually change. But if they are not open to change, you can ask to move to an area where they are not causing you any harm, because your mental health and well-being is most important. Then there was a question on, imposter syndrome.
Imposter syndrome?
Yes, we all suffer it. But one thing I learned from my early years, I really suffered imposter syndrome. But I asked myself, if I was not equal as a human being like others, and I really needed to find myself, find yourself, be able to stand out when need be, and speak up, take the opportunities. You will be surprised. People probably look up to you as a great person, but it is you who feels that you're not that great as the world looks at you. So get out there. Failure is not the end of life. Failure actually is the beginning of something new, because you have to keep doing. And if you don't keep doing and keep appearing and turning up and speaking up for yourself, then you'll be set back. You'll really be set back in life. And I wish I had not set myself back with imposter syndrome. I probably would be way ahead of myself. But yes, it taught me a lot. Someone asked, what is imposter syndrome? It's where you keep telling yourself, I'm not good enough. And when opportunities come, you feel that you're not good enough, so let so and so do it. And you're the one who had been given the opportunity. So it keeps passing you, and other people keep coming ahead of you. You might have seen even a job opportunity. It had certain criteria, and you felt, hata apply hii, mimi sijioni nikitosha. So that is where imposter syndrome comes up. Back to you, Esther.
Thank you, Daktari. I see Lucy says Dr. Mugambi has said something very beautiful. Include your children in your journey of changes you're experiencing as a parent or guardian. It's easier when they understand issues at hand and become receptive to new adaptations. Thank you, Daktari. And then someone said here, even to the employed, mental health is an issue, especially in this era. And I agree. And I know our time is far much spent. Daktari, where can we get you? I know Daktari is with the Nakuru County government, doing an amazing job with the Nakuru County. Just let us know where we can find you, or where they can find you.
So you can find me. I don't want to give my number, but through Jenny, through Esther, you can find me. I'll give my email, and you can find it there, and we can chat and be able to plan.
And as she types that, you can as well get her on LinkedIn.
Yes.
Dr. Joy Mugambi. Yes. An amazing lady, based in Nakuru. Dr. Joy, we should come into Nakuru. I know you're doing an amazing job in the health department.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Joy, for your time. And to the audience, next week, we will have the CEO of Kenya Association of Manufacturers talking to us about the job opportunities in the manufacturing sector in Kenya and what the government is doing in collaboration with Kenya Association of Manufacturers. I see a comment there. I don't want to leave anyone out, but I want to check what that is. Oh, okay. Someone says, Esther, tell us a little about your conversations. Amazing. Conversations with Esther is mostly a digital platform where we speak to the workplace. We speak on mental health. We help organizations also formulate policies and structures around mental health. We also offer end-to-end HR consultancy services. I am a mental health coach. We take you through the 7 pillars of wellness. I have seen Hannah here. Hannah is, sorry, one of our champions. We are actually meeting at Karura on 29th of March. So we walk the journey with organizations through the 7 pillars of wellness. That's the physical wellness, mental wellness, financial, social, spiritual, environmental, intellectual. We walk you through that journey. We can also help your organization structure wellness programs. And we also speak to your employers and to your employees. I see Jedida here. Jedida Chiromo, thank you for showing up. Yes, and you can get me on LinkedIn, Esther Katiba. We are live. I've seen people asking for the recording. We are live on our YouTube channel, Conversations with Esther Katiba. So you can watch this and many other sessions that we've had on workplace matters, mental health matters, and many other sessions. Thank you very much for the evening. Thank you for making time for yourself. Thank you, Daktari. Yes, Hannah, I see Hannah posting something there. Yes, that's a nature walk that we have on 29th of March at Karura. It's free. Just come with your 100 shillings to pay for your entry fee, carry your water and snacks. Let us prioritize physical wellness, mental wellness. Let's have a great time. Show up on 29th of March at Karura. Thank you. Hannah, you want to say something before we close?
Esther?
Okay, thanks, Esther.
Yes.
It's
Yes,
me
Hannah.
speaking, Esther, Hannah. Oh, thank you so much,
Hannah.
Esther, especially for the session. It's speaking personally to most of us. And thank you for what you're doing in the wholesome wellness space. Just to encourage people to join us during the walk on the 29th. And maybe are you able to share with them the link to the group so that they can keep track of their physical fitness and other areas of fitness or
So I
wellness?
can do that in a minute. If they'll be patient, I can share. We have a WhatsApp group with almost 200 people, and we've become accountability partners for your wellness and fitness. Let me share that as you tell us about the event. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, the event will start at 8. That means that you will be at the gate by 8. Esther, we need to agree which gate we start at, and it's a 10-kilometer walk. As Esther mentioned, just come with your water and snacks not in single-use plastic containers or bottles. Make sure you come with containers that will be allowed to enter at the gate. We'll keep you posted, especially when you join the group. But in case you need to follow up on anything, you can always reach out, and we will be happy to share more details. Thank you so much.
Yes, I had Mativo speak. Maybe he can say something as I share this.
Conversation, and I want to congratulate Joy for articulating that. Just food for thought. I don't know whether to call it mental alignment or realignment to the older generation, because we seem not to be allowing space for the young generations. And when she talked about recommendation to the policymakers, it also discourages the youth, because everyone who is in school, secondary school, university, the first employment opportunity they look for is the government. But now when the government goes ahead to keep on, for lack of a better word, recycling guys who are in their past their 60s, so where do we leave this young generation? So I think there should be a deliberate way of trying to think of a way of engaging the older generation in terms of making that which I'm calling mental alignment, allow them to allow the youth take the position, so that we reduce the 12 point something percent of unemployment amongst the youths. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bwana Mativo. Bwana Mativo is with the University of Nairobi. I know where that conversation is coming from. Dr. Joy.
I hear Mativo, and I fully agree with you. And one thing from where I sit, we have aligned is having a staff establishment, HR plan, recruitment strategy where we begin with bottom up. When you look at most employment offices, the pyramids are inverted. And I agree with you, we need to look at having at the policy level the right pyramid structure, which should be, yes, a proper triangle with a tip at the top having fewer people, but at the bottom, because if succession planning is happening the right way, then we should have more youth at the bottom and the older who are mentoring at the top. And yes, that should be progressive. And this speaks out to the policymaker and the HR, because we are the team that works on these documents, and we are losing that skill to be able to plan for the human resource, have the right staff establishment, have the right academics, and also ensuring that we are scaling up from the lowest job groups to the highest, even as you come into government, so that you ensure you do not have only the top level having a bloated employment structure, which keeps complaining of high wage bill, because these top employees don't earn 2 shillings. They earn quite a big substantial amount and make the wage bill bloated and does not allow the bottom to fill up. And that way you have older people who are very tired and are actually causing stress to the few young ones who are overworked.
Amazing,
So
Daktari.
Esther, that's a policy discussion that we need to have probably in future discussions.
Absolutely, absolutely. I know there's a conversation that we need to have, and thank you very much. We will look into that. We have shared the link, the WhatsApp link for our wellness group. Feel free to join. It's on the chat. And we hope to see you, including Daktari. We hope to see you on 29th. Look at your calendar and we will be happy to see you.
I will be there.
Thank you. Thank you. So thank you, everyone. God bless you. Have a good night. Take care of yourselves. And let us be our brother's keeper. When you get a job, let's post to each other and also mentor one another. Thank you. God bless you. Have a good night. That's it from Conversations with Esther. Thank you.
Thank you.